When you make the decision to go green, don't forget about the outside of your home. There are plenty of things that you can do that have a huge impact on the environment around you. Jamie Carman, President of Operations for Silent Impressions Landscaping, stopped by this really old house goes green.
I'm Jamie Carman, Silent Impressions Landscaping. I'm the President of Operations, so we go out and we take a look at yards and expand it out so that your indoor living space comes into your outdoor living space, so expanding your outdoor living room. We do just about everything. We do fences, decks, patios, plantings, large trees, armor stone, you name it, we do it all. Being environmentally friendly is obviously one of our biggest concerns, not only from what we do on a construction basis, but what we put in the landscape too.
Silent Impressions strives to be on the cutting edge, offering clients green technologies that are brand new and have never been done in the past.
Native plants are very, very big, takes very little water. They usually do extremely well because they are part of the landscape. They grow here naturally. Plants like xeriscape that need no water, they're a desert plant, actually work extremely well for today's environment too. Hot summers, very little rain, it all plays to xeriscape and native plants. Some of the irrigation systems are now running off of gray water management. So the water that comes out of your eaves troughs, water that comes from your kitchen, it's not potable, it's not usable, we can't drink it, but at the same time it can come back to your environment and it won't hurt it. Grass loves it. So decks are obviously a great living space. It gets you out into your yard and it's usually the focal point where you can look out to the yard. This deck isn't a bad deck, it's in relatively decent shape, but if you notice, it cuts itself off to the backyard. It's sort of a room on its own and it doesn't meld in. So you really have to go to the side, walk down and use your backyard. If we were to change this deck, we would probably put a step in the front so that you come down into the yard itself and take down some of this privacy screen. Privacy is great, but there can always be too much. Trees are great in your backyard. They add fall color. They can be used for privacy screens to block out your neighbor, especially if your neighbor has a big garage or something that you don't like to look at. This maple here is a good maple. It looks like it's been here probably about 10 to 15 years. Somebody's probably started it and it's growing up. What we would do, because of where it's at, we'd like to move it and get it off a little more to the side. One of the things that was brought up to us is that they would like to enter off of this side of the house. As you can see, there's a big step there. It doesn't really make it that easy to bring people in. What we would do here is actually change the way that this is laid out, have the step come off in the front here so that you've got more walking room. The other thing that I really like here that you don't see in many homes is a clothesline. Why have a clothesline? Right there, you can come right out, put your clothes on it, and away you go. One of the things that has been asked is that we do some fencing through here. Obviously, you can see that there's a chain link fence here. People don't really like chain link. Chain link is a thing of the 60s, or if you have a pet and you want to be able to see that pet, you put up chain link so you can see. The fence that's beside it is a pressure treated fence, and we've been asked to put it all the way around. That's a great idea. It gives you some privacy. It will also spruce up the yard. The fence that's here, we will end up recycling 100%. It'll all go to the scrapyard and be used in other things. So we try and make it so that we are environmentally responsible. We're not just putting this stuff into a landfill. Typically, we only have 2 garbage bags full of waste for a whole job. Think about that. That's not that much waste when you're doing $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 jobs. Downspouts are usually a thing of the past, especially when we come in and do landscaping. Downspouts should be put underground and either put into an area where it flows out and away from the house, or put into a holding area with gray water management. So anything that comes down this spout should be saved, whether it be a rain barrel or whether it be an area where it's a holding area for gray water management, or if it gets out and away from the house. Weeds are always something that we have problems with. Everybody wants the lush looking full green grass. Unfortunately, in our environment today, it just gets too hot for grass. Grass ends up burning out, and we get weeds that come in. With artificial grass, essentially laying out a carpet across your grass that looks like grass, feels like grass, sounds like grass. It is grass, except it's made out of polypropylene. This isn't your parents' Sky Dome AstroTurf. You don't have any pesticides whatsoever. You don't use any of them. You don't have to mow it, so you've got no fuel, no emissions coming out from your lawnmower, which is, by the way, one of the biggest polluters we have today is lawnmowers, especially the homeowners kind. And the other thing is that all your water goes back into the ground. It will drain 20 inches in an hour. If we have 20 inches in an hour, you better go get yourself a boat, because you'll be on it for 40 days and 40 nights.
Gas-powered push lawnmowers have a huge impact on the environment. Here's a Green Hub fact. Because of relaxed laws for emission standards, a push mower pollutes more than the average car. Assuming a car averages 64 kilometers per hour, a push mower produces more hydrocarbons and nitrous oxide than 6 cars, and the same CO2 as 10 cars. In other words, in an hour, a push mower will produce the same amount of hydrocarbons and nitrous oxide as a car driven 413 kilometers, and the same amount of CO2 as one driven 645 kilometers. Not to mention the 77 million liters of gasoline that is spilled annually just filling the lawnmowers. For all this and more, go to thegreenhub.ca.